Drones everywhere, skyscrapers around every corner, neon lights, delivery robots, self-driving cars. It looks like a scene from a futuristic movie, but it's just another ordinary day in Shanghai. China's richest city has become one of the most extreme urban laboratories on the planet. More than 25 million people live crammed together, connected, fast-paced, all trying to keep up with a place where the future has arrived too quickly. Here, everything is exaggerated. Rent is absurd, the subway is crowded, the pace of work is insane, and even ordering a coffee seems like a military operation. Technology promises to solve everything, but it comes at a high price: space, time, sanity, and even a little humanity. Have you ever stopped to think about what it's like to live in a place like this? Today, Bello Mundo will show you what life is like in China's richest city. A real dive into what life is like behind the drones, skyscrapers, and technological promises. From 8-square-meter apartments to 15-minute deliveries. From digital glamour to the silent exclusion of those who can't keep up. Because here, progress is cruel and waits for no one. Number 1. Location and geographical data. Shanghai is located in eastern China, facing the East China Sea. It's like the country's showcase, the first thing the world sees when it looks at modern China. But behind this futuristic facade lies a huge, noisy, fast-paced city where everything happens at once. For starters, it's huge. It covers more than 6,000 square kilometers. But what really stands out is the number of people. More than 25 million inhabitants share space in a territory squeezed between skyscrapers, wide avenues, and narrow alleys. Here, space is a luxury. The city is divided by the Huangpu River, which separates two completely different Shanghais. On one side is the Pudong district, the postcard image with tall buildings, neon lights, flying drones, and digital signs everywhere. On the other side is the old city, with popular markets, old bicycles, and the smell of oil and noodles in the air. The weather is also relentless. In summer, temperatures reach 35 degrees, feeling like over 40 thanks to the humidity that sticks to your skin. In winter, the minimum can drop to 3 degrees, with a biting wind coming straight from the sea. But Shanghai doesn't slow down because of that. Rain or shine, the city runs in turbo mode. Each neighborhood has a function: industrial zone, fashion district, financial center, art and technology hubs, all mixed together and connected by a seemingly endless transportation network. And in the end, one thing is undeniable. This city was not made for rest. It was made to happen, and everything in it is designed to keep that engine running. But it wasn't always like this. Number 2. History. Before becoming synonymous with modernity, this metropolis was just a strategic port, wedged between the sea and the rivers of eastern China. And precisely because of its location, it was invaded, divided, and exploited by foreign powers throughout the 19th century. After the Opium Wars, China was forced to open its ports to Western trade. This gave rise to one of the most bizarre scenarios in the country: international concessions where the British, French, Americans, and Japanese ruled entire neighborhoods as if they were embassies with their own rules. On one side, there were trams with signs in French. On the other, Chinese temples and street markets. Everything together, but nothing alike. During the 30s and 40s, the place exploded economically. It was the financial center of Asia, with casinos, jazz clubs, and luxury hotels. But this glamour collapsed with the Japanese invasion, the war, and then the Communist Revolution of 1949. The city lost its prominence while Beijing became the new center of power. The turnaround came in the 90s. When the government decided to open up the economy, this territory was chosen as a showcase for modernization. Skyscrapers, special economic zones, foreign investment, and a seemingly endless pace of construction followed. In 30 years, what was once a city scarred by colonialism became a symbol of emerging power. Today, it is the world's largest cargo port, home to one of Asia's major stock exchanges and a showcase for Chinese economic power. But it has not been easy. Number 3. Daily life in the city that never stops. Around 5 in the morning, the city is already bustling. It's not collective insomnia, it's survival. In the early hours of the day, millions of people begin to move silently, leaving cramped apartments, crossing crowded streets, and jostling for space in subway corridors. Those who wake up late miss their schedule, and possibly their day. The scene repeats itself everywhere, lights shining from stacked boxes, steam rising from makeshift kitchens, people brushing their teeth with one hand and checking messages on their cell phones with the other. Time is a luxury that few people have. Outside, the struggle continues. Sidewalks are crowded, cyclists dodge pedestrians, delivery people speed by on electric motorcycles. All at the same time. Everyone has the same goal, to get on one of the subway trains before they become impossible to enter. And that's where the number is impressive. More than 10 million passengers circulate in the underground system every day. It's as if the entire population of Portugal got on and off the cars every day in silent, uninterrupted synchrony. But incredible as it may seem, it works. It's not comfortable or calm, but it works. There is a kind of unspoken collective choreography. People move quickly, but with their own logic. Everyone knows where to stand, when to move forward, who should get off first. This logic of movement sets the pace for everything here, and it doesn't stop when the sun rises. It continues inside offices, on apps, in elevators, in restaurants, and of course, inside homes. In fact, it's inside the home that the hardest part begins, because when you have less than 200 square feet to call home, even resting requires planning. Number 4. Living in less than 200 square feet. Remember we said at the beginning that in this city, every square foot is fought over? This becomes even clearer when you enter people's homes. In most neighborhoods, it's normal to live in cramped conditions. 80% of low-income apartments are less than 200 square feet. Some people live in 8, 10, 12. And inside this cubicle, everything has to have more than one function. Beds that turn into sofas, tables that fold away and disappear, refrigerators that fit under the sink, bathrooms that are used for washing clothes, dishes, and even brushing your teeth at the same time. It's architecture designed for survival, and there's nothing improvised about it. Everything is thought out, fitted, and utilized. The most curious thing? These cubicles aren't cheap. Average rent can cost $800 a month. In other words, you pay a lot to live in a space smaller than most people's bathrooms. Even so, demand continues to grow. Because space is limited, but the city outside offers everything. In this context, the house becomes just a place to stay, a place to sleep, grab a quick bite to eat, and rush out again. Number 5. The 996 system. If there's one word that defines the work routine here, it's exhaustion. 7 in the morning. It's not even dawn yet, and the subway is already crowded with people yawning, standing with headphones in their ears and lunchboxes in their backpacks. No one talks, no one looks to the side. Everyone knows it's going to be a long day. Around here, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, is not the exception. It's the norm. This pace even has a name, 996, from 9 in the morning to 9 at night, 6 times a week. But the truth is that many people start earlier and finish later, And since the commute home can take over an hour, some employees prefer not to even leave the building. They sleep right there. Companies know this, and they offer everything to keep the team performing. A cafeteria with 3 meals a day, a gym, laundry facilities, massages during breaks, and even individual showers. Instead of balance, they have created comfort within exhaustion. Even after the Supreme Court declared this model illegal, little has changed. Now no one is forced to stay, but those who leave on time are frowned upon. The culture of performance remains intact. Some people are proud of staying up all night at the office. They post photos on social media, tag their company, and show that they are there, working hard. For many, resting has become embarrassing, and Sunday, when it comes around, seems like a glitch in the system. In the end, work is no longer just work. It becomes a lifestyle or a prison with Wi-Fi and productivity bonuses. Number 6. Educational pressure. And it's not just adults who live in this automatic mode. Here, the race starts early, sometimes even before children learn to read. In China's most competitive city, education has become a battlefield. 3- and 4-year-olds already have schedules. By the age of 8, they have hardly any free time, and parents join in the game. Many people spend up to 40% of their family income on their children's education alone. Extra classes in English, math, programming, music, robotics, martial arts, all together. The schedules are so tight that some children go straight from tutoring to piano lessons without even stopping at home. The goal is always the same: to get a place in the best schools, and that means getting top marks in competitive entrance exams. The system is so relentless that a parallel market for tutors has emerged. Some teachers earn more from private lessons at the weekend than they do from their official salary. The pressure became so intense that the government tried to curb it. It limited overtime and banned tests on Sundays. But that only pushed the demand into homes. Now everything happens outside the school, with teachers hired directly by families. And it all revolves around a single moment: the Gaokao, the National College Entrance Exam. A low score can ruin a young person's professional future. A good score, on the other hand, can lift an entire family out of poverty. In many homes, life revolves around this exam. Routines are built around studying. Homes are chosen for their proximity to good schools. To give you an idea, tutoring comes before food in the budget. Number 7. The subway as a social vehicle. After so much pressure at work and in school, you would expect transportation to be chaotic. But it is precisely in the subway that the city shows another side, that of silent organization. And that is exactly why the subway deserves a topic all to itself. More than a means of transportation, the local subway is a kind of mirror of the city. There are more than 800 kilometers of underground tracks crossing entire neighborhoods, connecting extremes that seem like different worlds. All kinds of people meet in the carriages. Executives in suits share space with sweaty workers. Students carry huge backpacks and giant headphones. Ladies push shopping carts. And most impressive of all, everyone respects each other. Even at rush hour, the silent rule applies. No one shouts, no one pushes, no one invades anyone else's space. There is an invisible etiquette that works better than many written laws. Priority seats are almost always free. Those standing in front of the doors know they have to move out of the way to let others get off. No need to say anything. It's automatic. But this subway is more than just transportation. For many people, it has become an extension of their home or office. It's on the way that people watch TV shows, study, make video calls with their families, or even review spreadsheets on their laptops. An hour on the subway is not wasted time. It's useful time. And in the stations, the city reinvents itself. Musicians play in the corridors, informal traders sell everything from homemade snacks to cell phone cables. Some stations have entire underground shopping malls with food courts, pharmacies, clothing stores, and even dental clinics. What looks like just another crowded train car is actually a microcosm that condenses the organized chaos that defines this metropolis. Number 8. The 15-minute revolution. If you live here, you don't have to leave your house for practically anything. Want breakfast? It'll be there in 8 minutes. Forgot toilet paper? 10 minutes to your door. Dinner from a restaurant across town? 15 minutes tops. That's the logic of the so-called 15-minute economy, an urban obsession that Shanghai has taken to the extreme. But none of this would be possible without an invisible army of delivery drivers. Thousands of electric motorcycles zigzag through the streets all day long. These workers know shortcuts that aren't even on the maps. They know which doormen will accept deliveries, which elevators are fastest, and which staircases avoid congestion. They are the silent foundation that sustains the city's efficiency. But this speed comes at a price. These delivery workers have a grueling routine. They work 12 hours a day, making 50 deliveries or more. They are paid by volume and penalized for delays. If it rains, they lose time. If the elevator breaks down, the system reports a delay, and the company deducts the time from their pay. Most live in tiny rooms far from the city center and depend on their cell phones for everything, picking up orders, communicating, calculating routes, receiving payment. Technology is not just a tool, it is their boss, their clock, and their supervisor. From the outside, the system is impressive. Everything is fast, everything works. But on the inside, the city demands much more than it seems. Ultimately, the convenience of a click hides a heavy machine. An engine of tired people who run all day to ensure that the future arrives in 15 minutes. Number 9. The obsession with food and the culture of delivery. Eating well is almost a religion here, and no matter the size of your apartment or how busy your routine is, food remains a priority. On the streets, you can see this on every corner. Women preparing fresh pasta on the sidewalk, stalls frying stuffed dumplings, pots steaming with the smell of pepper, ginger, and garlic. But alongside this age-old tradition, there is an ultra-modern system that has completely transformed the way people eat. The city has practically stopped cooking at home. With such fast and cheap delivery, it makes more sense to order a ready-made meal than to go to the supermarket. Apps know exactly what you like. They analyze your previous orders, the weather, even the time you usually eat. They suggest dishes according to your mood, your schedule, and, in the case of women, even based on their menstrual cycle. It may seem like overkill, but here it's normal. This has created a new phenomenon. Ghost restaurants, kitchens with no dining room, waiters, or even a front door. They operate in converted apartments, warehouses, or the back rooms of other businesses. They are dedicated exclusively to delivery, with large-scale production and a focus on speed. One of these can make 500 meals a day in a space measuring 30 square meters. The result is an absurd supply of food. There is cuisine from all Chinese provinces, crazy fusions, futuristic dishes made by machines. And all of this arrives at your doorstep packaged, hot, and on time. But along with convenience came cultural change. Families stopped gathering around the table. The kitchen became a storage room. And eating, which has always been a social ritual, now happens alone, in front of a cell phone. In Shanghai, food remains essential, but the way we eat has never been the same. Number 10. The future has arrived, but not everyone has boarded. Finally, there is one thing we cannot ignore: differences. Because even with all the technology, efficiency, and speed, this city is also marked by contrasts, and big ones. Shanghai has become a laboratory for the future. There are self-driving cars on the streets, delivery robots, facial recognition payments, and artificial intelligence organizing traffic. But this progress does not reach everyone in the same way. Those who master apps, speak English, and have a stable income live in a paradise of convenience. They can work from home, order everything for delivery, pay for anything with their cell phones, and even invest in the stock market with 2 clicks. But for those who have been left behind, or never had a chance to keep up, the reality is quite different. Elderly people who don't know how to use a cell phone are lost in a world without physical money. Manual laborers are being replaced by machines, and those who depend on low wages can barely pay rent, let alone access these digital conveniences. In wealthier neighborhoods, there are buildings with elevators that recognize your face and open the door by themselves. In others, families share a room with a communal bathroom and unsealed windows. The government is trying to balance things out with digital inclusion programs, but the speed of change is much faster than most people's ability to adapt. In the end, the city shows how cruel the future can be to those who can't keep up. Shanghai has achieved something rare. It has brought 25 million people together to live, work, and dream without everything falling apart. But this comes at a price. Here, if you don't run, you become invisible or fall behind. What about you? Could you live at this pace? Would you trade space for convenience, privacy for efficiency, rest for opportunity? Tell us in the comments, what impressed you most about this reality in Shanghai? And if you enjoyed this dive into the daily life of one of the most intense cities on the planet, take the opportunity to subscribe to Bello Mundo, activate notifications, and share this video with those who also like to see the world from a different angle. See you on the next trip.